Christmas in America in the 1990s was when the holiday started shifting from analog to digital. The traditions were still there: decorated trees, family gatherings, too much food. But technology was beginning to change how people experienced the season. People still shopped only in physical stores, but now there were more of them, and they stayed open later. The 1990s were the decade of Elmo riots, Beanie Babies under the tree, and every kid wanting a Super Nintendo or PlayStation. Home Alone redefined what Christmas movies could be, and holiday decorations became bigger and more elaborate. Christmas shopping became more frantic and competitive. Parents camped out at Toys R Us for whatever toy was impossible to find that year. Credit cards made it easier to overspend. Here is what Christmas actually felt like in America during that decade. Christmas shopping in the 1990s was still entirely physical, but the options had expanded. Malls were the main destination, but big box stores were changing the game. Walmart was everywhere. Target was expanding. These massive stores had toy sections that rivaled dedicated toy stores, and they often had lower prices. Black Friday was becoming the shopping event it is today. Stores opened early, sometimes at 6 a.m. People would line up before dawn for doorbuster deals. The crowds were intense. This was when Black Friday was transitioning from regional tradition to a national obsession. Malls in December were absolutely packed. Finding parking was a nightmare. Inside, there were shoulder-to-shoulder crowds, Christmas music on loop, and the smell of cinnamon from the food court. Every store was decorated. You would leave exhausted, with bags cutting into your hands. Toys R Us and KB Toys were major destinations. You would walk through the aisles, see everything you wanted, and know you would only get a few things. Parents would bring kids early in the season to see what they wanted, then come back later alone to buy. The hot toys created genuine chaos. Tickle Me Elmo in 1996 was probably the worst. Parents fought in stores, and the dolls sold out immediately. People were paying hundreds of dollars for a toy that retailed for $30. The desperation was real. Beanie Babies were a phenomenon. Kids wanted them desperately. Parents would drive to multiple stores looking for specific ones. The secondary market was insane, and people treated them like investments. Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis dominated the early 90s. By the mid-90s, PlayStation and Nintendo 64 were what every kid wanted. These were not cheap. Consoles cost $200 or more. Getting a console for Christmas meant parents spent serious money. Tamagotchis, Furbies, Pokemon cards. The 90s had a constant stream of toy crazes. Each year, something new would dominate. Parents who did not pay attention would show up too late and find empty shelves. Electronics were becoming bigger Christmas gifts. CD players, boomboxes, and portable CD players. TVS for kids' rooms, small 13-inch sets. VCRs were in most homes, and getting movies on VHS tapes was a normal gift. Clothes were common gifts, but less exciting, except for brand names that mattered to teenagers. Tommy Hilfiger, FUBU, Gap, Abercrombie, and Fitch. The right brands meant something socially. Gift certificates became more popular. Instead of trying to pick the right gift, you would give a gift certificate to the mall or to a specific store. It felt less personal, but it solved the problem of buying something they did not want. Catalogs were still important. JCPenney, Sears, and Toys R Us sent out massive catalogs that would arrive in the mail. Kids would flip through them, circling things. Parents would order and have items shipped, which felt very modern, even though it took weeks. Christmas decorations were getting more elaborate. The big colored bulbs from the 80s were being replaced by mini lights, smaller and more numerous, and less likely to burn out. But they still had the problem that one bulb failing could take out half the strand. Outdoor decorations turned into neighborhood competitions in suburbia. Some houses went all out, with lights covering the entire roof, lit figures in the yard, and sometimes displays synchronized to music. Inflatable decorations began appearing in the late 90s, like a snowman or a Santa that inflated with a fan. Artificial Christmas trees became more common than real trees. The quality had improved. They looked more realistic, were easier to set up, and you did not have to water them or worry about needles. The trade-off was no Christmas smell, so people bought pine-scented candles. Tree decorating still happened as a family. Hallmark keepsake ornaments exploded in the 90s. People collected them, especially ornaments tied to pop culture, like Star Wars, Star Trek, and Disney characters. Christmas music had a specific sound. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You came out in 1994 and immediately became a modern classic. It had that 1990s production, big vocals, polished sound, but still traditional enough. Radio stations switched to all Christmas music after Thanksgiving. Traditional songs mixed with 80s additions and newer 1990s versions. The same songs played on repeat for a month straight. Christmas albums by popular artists were huge. Boyz II Men, NSYNC, Mariah Carey, everyone released Christmas albums. Your parents probably had a stack of Christmas CDs they would play throughout December. Christmas movies in the 1990s created new classics. Home Alone came out in 1990 and immediately became the Christmas movie for kids. It was not traditional or heartwarming. It was a kid outsmarting burglars with violent tricks. The Santa Claus in 1994 with Tim Allen became a family favorite. Jingle All the Way in 1996 was literally about the chaos of Christmas shopping and toy shortages. These movies reflected 1990s, Christmas, commercial, chaotic, but still magical. The old classics still aired. Networks would show A Charlie Brown Christmas, Rudolph, Frosty, but you could record them on VCR now. Some families started building VHS collections of Christmas specials and movies. Cable TV meant more options. TNT, TBS, and other channels would run Christmas movie marathons. You could find something related to Christmas on television constantly throughout December. Christmas mornings still started early, with kids waking up their parents. But now some families had camcorders to record it. The footage was grainy and shaky, but it captured moments in a way photos could not. The living room would be full of presents. Opening presents was chaotic, wrapping paper everywhere, kids tearing through gifts. The difference was, gifts were increasingly electronic, requiring batteries no one remembered to buy. Assembling toys had become more complex. Instructions ran to multiple pages. Parents would spend hours on Christmas night putting together whatever needed assembly, frustrated by unclear directions or missing pieces. Christmas breakfast and dinner were still central. Turkey or ham, traditional sides, too much food. More convenience foods were available. Pre-made rolls, packaged sides. Cooking was still work, but slightly less than before. Family gatherings meant being together without distractions, mostly. Some families had multiple TVs going, football in one room, kids' shows in another. The fragmentation of attention was beginning. Calling relatives meant using the landline. Long-distance calls were cheaper, but still something you were aware of. Email was starting to exist, but was not common enough yet for Christmas greetings. What made Christmas in the 1990s distinctive was this transitional quality. The traditions were still intact, with trees, presents, and family gatherings. But commercialization was intensifying, and the toy shortages and shopping chaos felt more extreme. Credit cards made overspending easier. Technology was beginning to change the experience, but it had not yet fully transformed it. You still had to go to physical stores. You still watched TV on a schedule. The internet existed, but it was not part of Christmas yet. For people who experienced Christmas in the 1990s, it meant fighting crowds at the mall, hunting for whatever toy was sold out, decorating with mini lights, recording specials on VHS, opening presents that required batteries you did not have, and the feeling that Christmas was becoming more frantic, but still special. For those who remember, Christmas in the 1990s was Tickle Me Elmo madness, Home Alone on repeat, Mariah Carey on every radio station, camcorder footage of Christmas morning, and the sense that the season was both more commercial and more fun than ever before. For better and worse, it was the holiday season caught between the analog past and the digital future.